All right. Let me put this. Perspective Blog X Lakers-fandom. Before we get to the content, I would like to thank all my subscribers for your support. If you are not a subscriber, I invite you to support the channel, subscribe, and turn the notifications on. Thank you for your support. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
All right.
Hey, there we hold on, man. Is that a weird reflection?
Huh?
Or can you see me? So can you see me pretty good, or do you see like a weird reflection right there? Oh man, I'm in my car. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's a little reflection, but I can see you.
Okay, let me see. Oh damn,
So,
that ain't no good.
how are you?
I'm all right. I lost a gang of money in the stock market last week, but I could be worse. But hey man, thank you for asking. Just still I'm in LA, so it's still COVID, man. So we just taking it day by day, hanging in there, man. But family's good, family's healthy. I'm working, so can't really complain. How about you?
Yeah, well, doing okay. And I wanted to like do this show today because I wanted to know what you think about the Lakers move of bringing Damian Jones to the Lakers.
Yeah, I saw the move. I wasn't, I'm not really that familiar with him, so of course I had to, go on YouTube and look at the mixtapes, look at the highlights. Yeah, he appears to be a player that the Lakers could use. I was surprised they brought in a younger player.
Yeah.
Usually, the Lakers usually bring in veterans, but obviously they saw something that they felt that could be of use for them. So, we'll see. I thought the last game may have been a little bit too early, but we'll see today if they give him a little bit of run today.
Yeah, I think maybe the reason they are bringing him is because they want to do kind of a test drive on him because it's only a 10 games. It's only a 10 games.
10-day contract.
I don't know how long. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a 10-day. I'm sorry, it's just a 10-day contract. So, yeah. So I would think if they brought him in for a 10-day contract, that we might. I mean, they're playing the Warriors tonight, right? So maybe we might see him. And I guess it just kind of depends on what they're not practicing a lot. So, I don't know if they really plan on keeping him around or if they just want to see what they got. But if the team is not practicing really, and you don't play him in the game, how how you gonna
Yeah.
know what you really have? So that's why I say I expect to see him tonight, and then hopefully if he gets a little bit of run tonight, then you know maybe they might be on something.
I'm gonna ask something to my wife 1 second, because I'm on
Okay,
my
I'll be here.
uh, in-laws house, because I think the phone is dying on me. Let me give me 1 second.
No problem. So yeah, the Lakers they went ahead they went ahead and made that move, and like I was saying earlier, they brought that guy in, Damian Jones.
Well, he's a young player. He can do like he can play kind of JaVale McGee type of thing, and uh, um, kind of like the game that you saw the Lakers last year playing. Uh, that that could be, if you see that everything is moving, is because I'm trying to connect here phone. Um,
No, you're good, man. You're good.
it's gonna look a little bit weird now because um, but one of the things is that I look, hopefully hopefully I don't run out of juice. Now I'm connected. So um, I never done it with the phone before. I didn't even know you could use StreamYard on the phone. And I don't know if it's a new feature or something, but I just discovered it because I left the laptop. So I started like trying to move stuff around, but it's a good move. But I still think they should make a space for Boogie, because this is the thing. Boogie is Marc Gasol, maybe without some of the defense, but with way more offense. And I think that's one of the things the Lakers need right now. Somebody, a big who can score when Anthony Davis is not able to score. Boogie would make Anthony Davis' job so much easier.
You know what? I would agree with you, but what I think, see the few games that I watched Houston play, um, Boogie spent quite a bit of time out in the perimeter. He's shooting a lot of threes. And so what I think the Lakers, I think what they're doing is, okay, they see that they do need a big man, but I don't think he's the kind of big man that they want. They want something similar to what they lost. I think they want something similar to what they lost from last season. The
But
protocol, excuse me, the prototypical centers. They don't. They feel, AD. He's pretty much like a stretch four now, even though he plays great defense. But I think the big man, ultimately, I think the big man that they settle on will be a more traditional five.
yeah,
That's what I
well,
think.
but the reason why I still think they should get a space for Boogie is because Boogie does what Marc Gasol does, but he's way more effective because if you take Boogie on the offense, right,
Mm-hmm.
then a big guy in the other team is gonna have to decide to go out and guard Boogie on the perimeter, or stay in and watch that they don't throw a pass to. It's gonna be more difficult to double team Anthony Davis. With Marc Gasol, you give him the three because Marc Gasol may score it, may not. Boogie is a little bit different because Boogie not only can score the three, if you give him space, Boogie can drive in, and he's not fast like he used to be, but there's very difficult. There is very little you can do when Boogie drives because even if you stand in front of him, he's gonna move you.
Right. You're right.
And he's a
I,
great.
yeah. I agree. And like I said, when I did watch Boogie this season, I was just curious. They didn't play him a lot with Wood, so because I was thinking maybe if they played him with Christian Wood, that Christian Wood is not, he's not saying in the same category as AD, but I just figured that maybe their games would complement each other, but that's not something Houston did. Um, I don't know, when the Lakers cleared the spot, and prior to that, when we started hearing about the rumors that Boogie was going to part ways with Houston, the rumblings about the Lakers immediately came out, but shortly thereafter, the rumblings came out that no, they're not going to go after him. So, and then they turn around and sign the young man from Phoenix. So, obviously, you would think that if that's really what they wanted to do, I think if that's really what they
Yeah,
wanted to do, it would have been done already. So that leads me to believe that that's not the direction they want to go in for whatever reason.
yeah. The other thing about this kid is that uh, I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think that a guy like that with AD is going to create so much problems for because he's great at pick and roll. Damian Jones is great at pick and roll, and so if AD goes outside and shoots um, you know a long distance shot or mid range, you have to watch out that he could do that, or he can just pass the ball to a cutting Damian Jones. And so he's a good cutter. That kid is a good cutter. If they can exploit that, oh, the Lakers are going to be really, really difficult to beat. If he can get into that, I think, like you said, like they are going to into that direction because this kid, he is, he could be something like Dwight in that sense. Dwight, even when Dwight is not doesn't like to do pick and rolls as much, but Dwight is excellent for pick and roll. The way he moves, this kid
Right,
moves really well too,
right.
and so I want to see him play. I just want to see him play because I think he's going to be really good. Um, I just wish, I like my Gasol, but he is maybe he's going to be different in the playoffs, right? Because that's one of the things, there's been talks about how the Lakers are saving themselves for the playoffs more than anything else, because of what happened. That injury of AD is just definitely fresh injury. But I think I think that the reason I think he got a 10-day contract might be because of some rule, but it also might be to kind of test drive the kid. But I think it's going to be awesome. I just wish that instead of, you know what, something that might be a reason why Boogie is not something that the Lakers wanted to pick up is that Boogie still keeps getting into technical foul problems and arguing with the officers, creating kind of a chaotic atmosphere, and that's what the Lakers wanna. The image the Lakers wants to project. Lakers are not a team that for this type of controversial players that much.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Boogie, he kind of has that back. He kind of has that. He kind of has that rap, but but to be honest with you, when some of the releases started coming out, when they started talking about him separating from the Rockets, everything that the Rockets said about him was positive. So we still don't know exactly the reason why, right, that he left the Rockets. It remains to be, it remains to be seen, where he ends up. I don't know, but like what you were saying, about I forget the guy's name, the guy the Lakers got from Phoenix. I hear what you're saying. He could easily, Mr. Jones. Damian Jones. He could easily, like we said, he's on a 10-day contract with the Lakers. He could easily just be around 10 days and gone, or the Lakers could very well see something in him for the future. He's still a young player.
Yeah,
they probably could, but this season, the way it is, they're playing every day, every other day. They don't have time for practice. I don't know, man. He might just get caught up in a numbers game. And he may stick around, he may not. I don't know. But really, I'm kind of agreeing with you. I think the Lakers, they may see something in him that they really like and that they want to keep. But with this season being the way it is, you don't have practice, you don't have this, you don't have that. So it's just kind of like, you're just gonna just play it by ear, game by game, and see what happens. I wanted to ask you about so look, since the last time that we talked, all hell broke loose. The Lakers went on a losing streak, and they lost Dennis Schroeder, and he came back, for his first game on Friday. But what I wanted to ask you is, of course, he came back, and the Lakers, all of a sudden the defense was in much better shape, and they were able to take care of Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers. So my question to you is, did Dennis Schroeder, when after he came back and led the Lakers to victory, or was very helpful in the Lakers' victory, did he just prove his worth to the Lakers, and did he just kind of seal the deal and guarantee his big extension?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. People sometimes they forget that basketball is, a lot more than scoring. So a lot of people might say, well, he's not scoring almost 20 points like last year, but he's doing a lot of stuff like defensively. Like, so I don't know if you have like noticed that there's some teams that they say, wow, this is a great defensive team. And one player gets injured and all of a sudden they are not, their defensive rating goes down and stuff like that. Because sometimes there are players that kind of have that spark defensively that activates the other players. Like I remember, um, when I used to play a smaller, type of basketball, that there was also somebody like when you see that person going like really fast and moving, you would that would inspire you to kind of do the same. And I think Schroeder, one of the things he does is that. The other thing is that once that is like an engine, he's really quick. So he really dismantles the defense of the other team by attacking the basket really quick. And even when he doesn't score, that opens for offensive rebounds or, somebody tipping in for the team. And I think uh, Schroeder is the type of player that he impacts the game no matter what. So I think that the Lakers, they see that stuff. And a lot of people watching the games were more concerned with the scoring sometimes and all that kind of stuff. But, I'm not an NBA guy, but I've been, like with younger people, I've been in the coaching seat and all that kind of stuff. I see it. I imagine that everybody that has to do with that, Pelinka used to play basketball, and all that kind of stuff. And Pelinka was actually a great defensive player.
Excuse me. Yeah.
He is one of those guys that would probably look at what Schroeder does, those little things, and he would go like, "Oh, I saw what you did right now." So, um, and he's the other guy right now. I mean, the Lakers have four solid players right now, and they have good developing players. One of them should develop like should be or considered as a fifth really good player there, which is Kuzma. Kuzma is like in between the developing player into the player that is getting really good because Kuzma realized, and he said it in an interview, that the reason he in smaller leagues and in college was because of his rebounding and his actually his defense. So and he stopped doing that in the NBA, and that is what he did an impact. But now he's being an impact player because again he rebounds. He's looking for. He's looking to do those little things on the side. And, you see Kuzma doing that in the same way. Um, you see that in either Montrez or either Schroeder. And so this Lakers team is a lot better than what people probably at this point think because of all the losses and all that kind of stuff. But the only thing I was concerned about was the center position. And right now they are pretty good because of Damian Jones. And
Yeah,
use two
I think
regular players, especially when one of them is a.
yeah, I was gonna say I think you're right, and we saw when Shorter was kind of struggling a little bit, to begin the season, and it kind of like how to fit in, when to shoot, when not to shoot, and then it looks like he just finally decided, look, let me just concentrate on the defensive end, which is what they're asking me to do, and then the other stuff will kind of fall into place. And it looked like since he did that, everything worked out better for the Lakers. And also the stuff he said about Kuzma. He was smart enough to figure out, look, man, I just need to figure out what to do to be effective while I'm on the floor, and it doesn't always have to be about scoring. So we'll see. Hopefully, they both continue to improve, and like you say, overall, you know, some people, including myself, man, we kind of panicked a little bit during that losing streak. But the Lakers, they follow the lead of LeBron James. And I don't really think, man, people can say what they want to say, but can you hear me good?
LeBron James is going to be the leader pretty much until he retires. I don't think. I think AD is getting there, but I still think that the team is going to respond to LeBron James.
Yeah, and I just think, so he's a leader and they follow him, and I just really think that LeBron has his attitude to where he's just not. He wants to win games for sure. We got to win games, but overall, really at this point, I just really think he could give a damn about the regular season. He's just really focused on the playoffs, and I just think the team as a whole, that's just the kind of mindset that they have. Now I don't know if that's dangerous or not, but I just kind of think that's just the way it is with this team.
Schroeder. Another thing about Schroeder is that he is kind of like Rondo, like in him picking apart the defense of the other teams, and that will. I think that issue when LeBron is either resigning, conceding the leadership in the sense of being the captain of the team, that Schroeder is going to share with Anthony Davis the leadership. Like Anthony Davis is the leader, but Schroeder would be kind of like what Rondo was last year for the Lakers.
Yeah, I agree. It's just their first year together. But once Schroeder gets that extension, and then he's locked in, and we know he's going to be here. Um, basically, yeah, he's going to have the ball in his hands. So AD is a big man, and so in order for him to be successful, he's going to need somebody to get him the ball, and that person is going to be Schroeder. Going forward, it's going to be Schroeder, not LeBron James. Eventually it's going to be him and Schroeder, and then whoever else they decide to bring in, whatever. But in order for AD to be effective, he's going to need a guy to get him the ball. So this is just their first year together. They're building a rapport. They're learning each other. But I think you're right. Eventually, at some point, it will be these two, leading the team. That's just the way it's going to be. But as of right now, as long as number 23 is still there, he's the man. He's the man. But you have to give credit to LeBron James, because he could have easily said, "Look, I was the point guard last year, and we won a championship. You go to the bench, Schroeder. You go to the bench. In a couple of years, you can start." But LeBron knows what the situation is, so he just works around it. You have to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look, if you listen to some of the other guys talk,
I know some.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, and something interesting is LeBron. One of the things that he sees in Schroeder is somebody who he can pass the wisdom to. That type of player, kind of like Rondo, because they can speak their own language, like like uh, like they are both like Rondo. I saw an interview that Rondo always, and this is an interview of Rondo when he's in the Celtics. That all he did when he got home was watch tapes of the next team gonna play. Like he was really into studying the game from all the angles possible against the team he was going to play, and the players and how the players moved and all that kind of stuff. There's not many players with that dedication even in the NBA, and I think that like the way he talks about Shooter, the way he talks about Jalen Horton Tucker, he talks about these both of them in way like they're workers, that they are always like looking for, always looking at tapes. So that's a great culture that he's leading this Lakers team into, you know, and I think that might stay for a long time, and I hope it does, because it could mean a bunch of championships not that far into the future. And
Yeah,
I just want
hopefully
the
so.
Lakers to win enough championships in my lifetime to see the Celtics way down from the top.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if you heard in the news. I don't know if you heard in the news, man. That I don't know if you heard in the news, but Schroeder, he just bought a multi-million-dollar house out here. He just bought a multi-million-dollar mansion out here in Encino. So he must receive some pretty good assurances from the Lakers and from his representation that he's going to be in LA long term. So if that's the case, You know, that's good news. That's good news for Laker fans.
Well, yeah, we would love that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
we
Well,
we we love.
and and you know, to be honest with you, man, another
Want
thing
to ask
about
you
the team
something?
as a whole,
What do you?
I don't. I didn't hear you. Hey, you starting to break up, man.
I didn't. I didn't get that last part.
No, I was saying you starting to break up, but I was gonna say another thing about this Laker team as a whole. I don't think I don't think we've seen this team at full strength yet. You know, maybe one or two games, but basically AD was hurt coming into the season, so I don't think we see this team at full strength yet. So there's still more to look out for. Can you hear me?
You know, um, something I wanted to ask you before, um, before for some reason my phone is kind of breaking up the um. You know that the Clippers lost their game. I don't know if you knew that they lost their game. I don't even know who they were playing, but
They're playing the Bucks.
you think also.
Yeah, I know the Clippers were playing today, and I heard and I saw the update that they lost to the Bucks. You know, nobody thinking about the Clippers, man. Same old Clippers. Same old Clippers.
All right, so I'm gonna my phone. I don't know what it's doing. That it's kind of weird. Um, but I'm gonna end the show right now, and
Okay.
so before we go, uh, check out the LA Sports Live channel. Please uh, go there, subscribe, give a like. Usually, the news that have to do with the Lakers, that's the place you can find it first, and that's where I usually find it first. So that's my testimony right there. And and you can also like to my channel, Effective Love X, like I will appreciate. And I really appreciate that you take the time to be with me here. And we we should get ready for the next game, which starts probably in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I guess
Is
I
it
forgot
in,
all about
I
the I
think
forgot
in
all about the I forgot all
around
about the
20
game, bro. I forgot about the game, but yeah, man. Hey, thanks for the information, brother. Thanks for the shout out. I don't mind coming on, man, anytime, and really appreciate it, bro.
Okay, I appreciate you here. So yeah, have a good one.
Okay, brother. I'll wrap with you later.
Right. Bye. Okay, man.